Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Atomic Mass Transmissions Live. Today, we're painting up Mr. Sinister. Well, we're going to finish up Mr. Sinister. Hopefully, finish up Mr. Sinister. We started working on him last week on Thursday. Did some really fun stuff with the metal and the blue cloth. Got pretty far along. I was pretty happy with it, but showing how using some of the same colors, but just applied differently, we can get some really interesting effects. Did the metallosity with the gray metal, glazing with the blue. So we should be highlighting to that today. And I'd like to add one more shadow to the blue cloth to differentiate. I'm over here, I'm looking at him, thinking. Shows the card. You saw the card. I played him on Tuesday. Almost won, almost beat Mr. Wilshick with Mr. Sinister and my Essex Men. He's a lot of fun to play. Very interesting character. So we should be shading the blue cloth with some black to differentiate it more between the metal. Then we start highlighting, and then we'll start painting some green smoky bits. So enough of me jabbering. Let's get to painting. Switch it to the mini cam. Boop, there he is. He's handsome. He's handsome. All right, so like I said, I want to start shading the cloth. We did the same blues on the cloth and the metals. It is just applied over top of different things. Now I want to take some black and I want to shade down my cloth, and just to make it different. Hello, how is everybody doing? Is Kitchell gave me some bumps, which is awesome. Thank you. Missed the game Tuesday, Big Bad Andy. That's it was a heck of a game. I almost won. It was tied up 15-15, and then Schick was able to pull out the win. It was very dramatic. This is a mix of just some black and our Hold Your Blue. Schick showed off how awesome Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were. A lot of fun to play those characters. I played with Mr. Sinister, who was just a riot. We kind of told our little story like we like to do in Crisis Protocol. It's all about telling a little fun story. See if I can do this over the top. Right over like that. Do the same thing on this side. Bring that right over. Got a little black on the metal, clean it up. If you're painting today, let me know what you're painting. If you got any questions, let's talk. I'm here to chat, I'm here to hang out. I'm just glazing this over. I want to really darken that cloth down. I want to get that, I want to make it really feel different than the metals. Kind of like plays into that whole comic book vibe as well. If you look at Mr. Sinister art, his costume's always depicted with like those spot blacks. So this kind of like pulls that idea into the paint job. So you're really getting some really wondrous blacks on that costume. Just making it contrast against that metal more and more and more. Because remember, it's all about contrast. That's what we want. Even in characters, like miniature design, we talk a lot about contrast when we're designing miniatures. Which is always a fun conversation. How important it is to create those contrasts. A lot of philosophy of how to create that contrast, right? Contrast we've talked about many times, not just black and white or red and blue. Hot and cold, rough, smooth. It's pretty good. I like that. I'm not going to really darken up this side. The way he's got his leg in the smoke, I went less shadow there. So I kind of accentuated this little triangle bend there. But I'm not going to put any black over there. Now what we could do is, because there's a light source, we could put like a little line of black right up against the light source. Creates that contrast. Well, like even this miniature pose is kind of a experiment in contrast, right? It's like, you have something like Amazing Spider-Man, who's, very actiony and doing a lot of fun stuff on the table. And then you have somebody like Mr. Sinister, who's definitely, the story's more composed and dramatic without, because you have to have room to breathe, right? I like to think of the miniature line as not just, it's not just individual miniatures, it's a collection. So having a diverse and eclectic set of miniatures makes the whole line holistically more interesting. Creates that contrast that we always want. So it's a lot of fun to do stuff like this, where we kind of have a little artistic fun, tell a little story. Just throw a little highlight on those blue. Like that. Accentuate those knuckles. You want those knuckles to be real sharp, sort of exaggerated. We're not doing anything super fancy here. Am I going to paint up an Angela from my May team? I have my 5 characters. My first 5 characters for, if you don't know, Schick and I are doing a 10 character roster build in May. I have my first 5 characters picked out. And the community, y'all, are going to pick 4 characters for us each. And then there may be a surprise, or there will be a surprise 10th. So maybe everybody will vote for me to paint Angela, because Angela's not in my 10 or in my 5 pick yet. So maybe that's one that the community will pick for me. And we'll be putting up a vote sometime for everybody to vote on what are those other ones. Maybe, I don't know if BK's in here. Maybe BK can shed some light on when those votes will start happening on what you're going to make me paint and check. Mr. Sinisters. What is the plural of Sinisters? What is the plural of Misters? Sinisters? Sounds like a 80s synth band. Schaefer's on. Schaefer does not have that answer on the 10-man, 10-character roster build. Alright, just keep highlighting where I want. Maybe we can do some little scritches. I like doing scritches. Add a little more white. Meesters. I like Meester Sinisters. Really want those knuckles to pop. Sinister Misters. I like Sinister's Misters. It's pretty good. Especially this cleanse finish. Let's add even more white. It's got some titanium white out. He's got that white knuckle feel on that one side, like he is real grumpy about something. Don't think we revealed Mr. Sinister's affiliations. Do a little scratch. Just add personality and life. Mold lines. Where's mold lines? I do not see mold lines. Maybe there's mold lines. This is tabletop. There's a mold line. Like sometimes it just happens. Sometimes it just happens. We're not painting for competition today. Let's go around this side. Little shadow. Just kind of blend in all those shadows together. Alright, let's start highlighting the metals. So for this, I'm going to be using the heavy metal from scale 75. we're just going to go in just start highlighting just kind of where we want to accentuate the form. I like to start on the top of those bands. That's where the light's going to catch. Like that. You can even do the bottom if you feel like it might accentuate that form better. Just really start bringing out that shape of things, right? That's what we mean when we're talking about the form. Every now and then I just step back and kind of look at it, see where the eye tells me where to put stuff. We can do like a little highlight down across the top of that thigh. Looks really sharp, really brings that thigh into action. We can do the same thing here. It's already kind of built in from the glazing. So we're just going to accentuate it. Just make it more pronounced. And then on the top edge, there we go. So shiny, so shiny. I'm going to blend that one out. And forearm is facing straight up. And it kind of got that light coming from that way, so I want to really accentuate that. And on these metals, if you want, you can put little bright highlights. Just like I like little dots right in the darkest parts. Because if you look at metallic, a lot of times there's these really, really bright highlights down in the dark parts of the shadows. And it's like light bouncing up from other sources and just catching on the smallest surface possible. It just really makes it look exciting. Let's go around to the back. We're just working our way around the miniature. Like that. This is going to be covered up by his really cool cape. So maybe we don't spend a lot of time back here. That's fine. But I wanted some color back there. Top of arm is tricky on stream. See if we can get it. Sorry, I gotta turn the camera or the measure away from the camera ever so slightly. And that bicep should be about it. It's pretty shiny. So super shiny. All right, what's next? Let's go ahead and take a little yellow and green, mix that together. We're going to put a layer on this oozy vat smoke. This will get us a nice foundation to start building in that really fun looking green smoke. Really just shows how evil he is. He's so evil. And as I go into the shadows, I'll add a little more green just naturally as we go. I'm using like a fluorescent, the FX Fluoro from Scale. And then just a yellow, just like Soul, I think it's Soul Yellow. No, Marduk. And I'm just kind of mixing them together as I go around the smoke and just kind of making decisions on how much of each one to add to each area. You know, it's really up to you, depending on the effect you want. So you're just kind of creating a lot of variation, right? And then as you go down here, maybe grab even darker green to go down in the vat. Right now it doesn't have to be blended, we're just kind of wet blending this all together. And this will just create like a foundational color to work from. Like so. I think this needs a little more green right here. These two colors played all over the place. Marduk Yellow and Fluoro Techno Green from Scale 75. You can take those two same colors, and we kind of got some glow going on our legs here, and we can accentuate. We want less yellow this time because the further away from the source, the less light it is. And we can just accentuate some of those areas on the leg and down here. Maybe put a little green glow on the underside of his leg. Maybe the glove is catching a little bit. We don't want to go too crazy. Just a couple little hints. Little pops and little flavor. We got some white to that. And add some like sharp highlights. Just on the bottom of the leg, like right there where the leg is touching, basically touching the smoke. And then like little tiny dots on the middle. Because metal is more reflective. Nice and sketchy. What colors I used on what? What colors, Chewy? Get your notepad out. I'll tell you every color I used. If I can remember the name. Can't always remember the name. Sometimes the color doesn't exist too. It's not about colors. Recipes aren't real. We like to teach you how to paint, not what to paint. Does that make sense? The metal was, we did our thrash metal, or heavy metal. And then we glazed it. If you watched last week's video, we shaded it with grays and blues, like a very gray blue. So we shaded it with grays and a gray blue. And then we did blues over top as a glaze. And then we used the same blues that we glazed on the metal over top of the Zenith Prime cloth. Then we shaded the cloth with black. Then we highlighted with a bright blue and white. But then we highlighted the metal with silver. So you have the same foundational blues. And it's whatever blues you want. I used like Holzer blue and then like a primary blue that I can't remember the name of. But the foundation changed what they look like. So for yours, the idea is to learn that you can make it your own. And you can adapt the recipe. You don't have to use the same recipe. You can use the philosophies. And it sounds intimidating, but you just gotta believe in yourself and give it a try. You know, it's all about trying. It's all about practice. It's all about just, learning to mess up. My paint palette is a mess. There's no one color happening anywhere. Sometimes you're like looking at something and you're like, well, this would look a little better if this red was more blue, which is what I'm doing now. And the red up on his chest and head is more orange. Speaking of, let's take a little bit of that orange. Still put it in here, but just less of it. Just a little highlight across the top of the belt. But then on the diamond, let's do half. Matt Morris 2017. I can teach a master class in mess ups and happy accidents. Yeah, mistakes are how you learn, right? You can't learn by winning. So I don't believe in mistakes. It's literally trying things, seeing what works, and asking yourself why it didn't work or why it did work. Doing the same thing over and over doesn't matter. Like, great, you did the same thing over and over. I believe you can do better. So let's try. Let's ask the questions why and see what we can come up with. Darken the green. I don't know what this darker green is. I just mixed it. It doesn't, the name doesn't matter because you can change it over. I just added more dark green, so I'm going to put it down here. So you can just kind of play and have fun and be free. It's like ratios. Ratios in paint, I get asked a lot about ratios. Well, how much? Is it 3-to-1, 2-to-1? Sometimes that doesn't work, right? Paint. You might buy a bottle of paint. I might say go buy Marduk Yellow from Scale 75, and you might have an old bottle. You might have bought it brand new from the shop, but that bottle might be old. And so the ratio isn't going to work. Like water ratios. It's like how much paint to water ratio? It's a very hard question to actually answer. I live in a rainforest, you live in a desert. Is the water ratio going to be the same? I'll wait for your answer. Just the tiniest dot of Holdra. And I love these. I love painting little weird swirls and smoke. Just kind of let the paint be sort of unblended. Adds a lot of life and action. I can give you a recipe and we can just do it by step, but I believe that you can learn much more by just following the philosophy. Like if I say add blue to red to create a shadow, it's much better to learn why than just you did it. Even if you're just painting tabletop, by learning some of those kind of lessons, you can get a more dynamic and full of life paint job on your miniature than just following a recipe and accepting. Y'all got me monologuing. Because that's kind of what I'm here for. Should we go a little darker on that green again? I'll let you vote. Tell me what you think. Should we go a little darker? I'm going to grab some white, yellow, green. I'm just tapping the edges with a damp brush. Just to soften the edge. Like so. See one vote for yes. KT Logan 68 says yes. I really want to come down here right at the base. Remember, these don't have to be perfect. It's smoke, so it's rolling and swirling. It's alive. It's full of action and nefarious goop. There we go. Add a little water to this now. Maybe just kind of damp brush around little spots. You can make soft areas of inside the rolly smoke. I really want to show off. This is sculpted by Brian Dugas, and he really did a really good job on the smoke. I love it. It's got this nice little swirly royal back here. So you can kind of show that off. In a little bit, we're going to show off the last picks the recent picks, not the last. Makes it sound like it's the final picks for the Christ hashtag painting protocol. Got 6 really cool miniatures we're going to show off. We can talk about this month's painting protocol. So we'll be going over those here in a little bit. Alright, one more time with the white. Right at the top. Some little dots and specks. Concentrate down at the bottom. Kick up the diamond, a little red and orange. He's also got the diamond on his forehead. I think I need a pointier brush for. My brush is not super pointy today. Take a little of that hot orange, put it up here in the back of the collar. For a little highlight up there. Just highlight those again. We'll glaze that down just a touch here in a little bit. So close to done. Alright, let's check the cape, see how he looks. That's what I'm talking about. So we're real close to done. All I gotta do is finish up the face and the regeneration / cloning pod. And I think that's gonna be it. I think that's a Mr. Sinister about done. Let's take a look at hashtag painting protocol. Hello. So let's take a look at the hashtag painting protocol choices for last month. There we go. So Warmaxter painted up the Black Order. We got a really awesome Thanos in the full Black Order on the Thanos throne. Custom base. Looks really cool. I really like the throne in this one. Remember, the theme was Black Order. So really exciting. This one was a lot of fun to take a look at, and just really shows the Black Order all together. And I really like the spotting on Black Dwarf there and the metallics just overall, and then the red Corvus and Proxima working together there on the one side. Very exciting, very cool to check out. We got another Black Order pick, Proxima Midnight, looking really cool. I think that the black on has it's really nice. They have this black green, which is working really well against the golds. So this is by Guido Plaquette from Instagram. So pretty cool take on one Proxima Midnight. Here we have a Black Widow. Now Black Widow is not part of the Black Order, but she does have black in her name. So once again, really nice blacks, really cool transition into blue. Nice contrast against the red hair and the gold. Really made this a really fun miniature to take a look at by Aurelius 99. Another member of the Black Order. What can I say? Like, purple pants wins the day. You got this beautiful orange skin and the metallic sheen on the armor looks really cool, and the black craggy bone bits I think is a really good choice instead of the more traditional bone colored bits. Really make them stand out against that orange skin and that metallic. So it's a nice contrast there. You got warm, you got cold, you got shiny, you got dull. So a lot of really cool stuff and some custom base work. Looks like some decorative basing elements there to really make that destructiveness of the Crisis and the Crisis Protocol come to life. And we have, once again, another not Black Order. Discordia painted up some really nice blue blacks. Once again, contrasting with the reds here, and then the really subtle purples helps tie everything all together. And once again, you got these really cool basing elements showing that, leaning into the fact that there's a battle going around in Crisis Protocol. So, damage control hasn't come in and cleaned up yet. There's still battling around. And our last one is Mr. Thanos himself. Really cool by Aurelius Studio. This really warm, powerful orange metal, gold. The gems still pop. Of course, gold and blue contrast super well together. And they have like this really interesting take on the base, this shiny gold, which is a lot different than what you typically see. So I thought it was an interesting take on Thanos. And he just looks awesome, right? It just looks big and powerful and about to come and take your jewelry from you, because that's what he does. He steals your... It's from space. He's here to steal a necklace. So, and pop it over to this. So those were our picks for the painting protocol. This month is high flyers, and that's what we want to see. We want to see your high flyers. Interpret that however you want. If you go to Instagram and you post it up there and you do your hashtag painting protocol, at the end of the month, we're going to pick our favorites, 6 of them. We're going to showcase them here on the show. And high flyers, that's the topic. Also, next month we're going to be doing the 10 character roster build. I got 5 picked out. You're going to choose 4 for me and Schick. Well, Schick has 5 picked out. I got 5 picked out. You're going to choose 4 for me. You're going to choose 4 for Schick. And then there's going to be a secret one, so to create a 10-man roster. And who knows, maybe we'll play a game with that roster that you help pick out. I'm trying to think of a unique color scheme and probably basing scheme for my special 10-character roster build. So if you got any ideas, let me know. Maybe we'll do volcano bases, or who knows, something crazy. Maybe we'll do something fun. Maybe it'll be something simple. Who knows? So like to tie it all together. Since we're going to tell a story over the course of a month, painting up our 10 characters, let's tell a story, right? Because that's what it's all about, telling the story. Do we have anything else to talk about? Let me know. Anybody? Let's get back to, we got 5 minutes. I did those way faster than I thought. Let's keep painting. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. Hang on. Something happened. I don't know what's going on. I don't know why it's doing that. Something happened. I can't switch back to minicam. We got a problem. So that's probably the end of the show. What are my 5 miniatures I'm picking? I don't know if I can talk about those yet. I think we're going to save those for later. So I can't figure out why the minicam's doing that. So I'm going to let y'all go. And I will... Mr. Sinister... Shane, by the way, Sinister broke the cam. Sinister broke the cam. I have no idea what's happening. So until next week, remember, join us every Monday, or every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for Atomic Mass Transmissions Live. Tomorrow's Mr. John Schaefer, and then Tuesday is going to be Mr. Will Schick. So check those out. I'm sure we're going to be painting something fun. Until next time, we'll catch you later. Bye.